All right, here's the second part of review 2. So starting with question 7, which statement about the graph of the equation y equals e to the x is not true? So one way we can do this is on our graphing calculator, go to y equals, type in e to the x. E, remember, is second ln or second divide. And we can go to the graph. If your graph is all weird, you can hit zoom up at the top and then the choice 6 will reset it for you. So here we have our e to the x graph. So choice 1 says that it is asymptotic to the x-axis. So that is talking about the asymptote. Well, looking at the graph here, it looks like it starts to, on the left, travel along the x-axis, but if you were to zoom in, you would see it's really getting closer and closer to the x-axis, but it does not actually touch it like our regular exponentials. So that is where our asymptote is, the x-axis. So that one is true, so it is not choice 1. Choice 2, the domain is the set of all real numbers. Domain are your x values. And if we take a look here on the left, the graph is going to the left forever towards negative infinity. On the right, it shoots up fast, but it will keep going up and traveling to the right at the same time. So the positive side of your x-axis, your domain, is going to positive infinity. So since your domain is negative infinity to positive infinity, it is the set of all real numbers. So choice 2 is out. It lies in quadrants 1 and 2. Your top right quadrant, that is quadrant 1, and then we go counterclockwise. So the top left is quadrant 2, the bottom left is quadrant 3, and the bottom right is quadrant 4. So that graph is completely in quadrants 1 and 2 on top. So that one is true, so it's not choice 3. Choice 4, one way you can do this, every point we know is an x and a y. So this is saying that the point when x is e and y is 1 would be on the graph. So taking that equation, plugging in that x and y, this says that e to the e is equal to 1. Well, if I take my calculator and go to my regular home screen and type in e to the e, I am not, in fact, getting 1 as an answer. So that is not true. Answer choice 4. Question 8. On the set of axes below, for negative 2 to 2, graph y equals 2 to the x plus 1 minus 3. So this interval, remember, that means that I am restricting my domain and I only want to graph these 5 points. To get the 5 points, go to the calculator, y equals, type in the equation 2 to the x plus 1 minus 3, go to the table, second graph, and here are your y's that go with those x's. So when x is negative 2, y is negative 2.5. When x is negative 1, y is negative 2. Then we have 0, negative 1, 1, 1, and 2, 5. So we are going to graph these points. So we have negative 2 and a half, negative 1, negative 2, 0, negative 1, 1, 1, and then 2, 5. Connect them with a curve, and there is your graph. Do not put arrows on the end for the restricted domain. Do not go past those 2 endpoints. That is your final answer. Question 9. Evaluate. So here's our sigma. Sigma, remember, represents a sum. And on the bottom here, n equals 3. This is the first value that we are going to plug in for n in the formula. After 3 comes 4, we're going to plug in 4. After 4 comes 5. And you are going to keep plugging in all of these numbers until you plug in the number that is on top. That is the last number that gets plugged in for n. Because the sigma represents a sum, we're going to add these all together. You can type this right into your calculator if you want, and you should get 100 as an answer. Question 10. The minimum point on the graph of the equation y equals f of x is -1, -3. What is the minimum point on the graph of the equation when y equals f of x plus 5? So this is one of our transformations. It is saying to take your y and add 5 to it. That 5 is not in the parentheses, so it does not go with the x, it goes with the y. So adding 5 to our y of -3, you end up with the point -1, 2. Question 11, graphing the log. It says use an appropriate scale to include both intercepts. That means your x and your y intercept. Now to get the x-intercept, remember that is where y is equal to 0. And to get the y-intercept, that is where x is equal to 0. And for these, I highly suggest that you also get your asymptote. Remember, you do not want to graph past this. All of this stuff is found on your calculator. The asymptote, remember, is the first error message. And it's always an equation, x equals. So let's go to our calculator. We're going to go to y equals, type in the equation to get the log with the base. Remember, alpha, window, choice 5. Type in the equation that is there. We're going to go to the table. And if I arrow up, my first error message is when x is equal to -7. So there's my asymptote. Now, x-intercept and y-intercept, sometimes you have to search a little. So the first 0 I see is when x is 0, so that is my y-intercept they are giving me, -2.229. To get the x-intercept, unfortunately this one you sometimes have to search a bit. So you're going to keep scrolling. Notice the y's are getting closer and closer to 0, so we're going to keep going until we get to it. Unfortunately, this one, the numbers are not the nicest, so you do have to search down quite a bit. So just keep arrowing down. Notice the numbers, the y's are getting closer and closer. And here we finally reached it when x was 74. So there is your x-intercept. So graphing, -2.229. Not that bad to get onto the y-axis. 74, however, for my x-intercept does not fit on this graph. So we do have to change how we're going to scale the x-axis because it says in the directions we want to include both intercepts. So there are 10 spaces here. If you do 74 divided by 10, we get 7.4. So you want to count by something greater than 7.4. So I'm going to round up to 10 just to make my life easier. Counting by tens is pretty easy. Big thing to remember though, if you are counting by tens on the positive side, you need to count by tens on the negative side as well. So now we can plot that point of 74. And the reason I included the negative side was so that I can fit my asymptote. So -7. My asymptote would be somewhere before that first line. So here's my asymptote. So graphing, remember we always start on the bottom right of your asymptote, travel up the asymptote, and hit the y-intercept, and then shoot out and hit the x-intercept, and it should naturally form that arc as it shoots out to the right. And there's your graph. Last question, question 12, crazy formulas. These, remember, will always be given to you. So this here says Kaylee is looking to take out a mortgage for $40,000 from a bank offering a monthly interest rate of 3.6%. If Kaylee takes out a loan from the bank for 6 years, how much will her monthly payments be to the nearest cent? Use the formula below. So M is the monthly payment. That is what we are looking for. P is the amount borrowed. So she needs to take out a $40,000 mortgage. So that is her P. R is the interest rate per month. We have a monthly interest rate of 3.6%. So converting to a decimal, we should be using 0.036. And here for N, we need to be careful. It is the number of payments. Well, we are going to be making monthly payments for 6 years. There are 12 months in a year. So 12 times 6. The N we should be using is 72. So plugging all of this straight into the formula that is given, make sure that you plug it all in carefully. All you need to do here is type this straight into your calculator. And like I mentioned on a previous question, I would be using that fraction button. Alpha y equals choice 1. You can type in exactly what we had on the page. To the 72 minus 1. You don't have to worry about any extra parentheses or anything. You could just type it right in, and there is your answer. It says round to the nearest cent, so 2 decimal places. So you should get $1,562.43. So there is review 2. Let me know if you have any questions. And then on Wednesday, your quarterly will be posted so you can complete it and submit by Friday night. Have a good day.